everybody. If you've never been here before, my name is Teresa. I'm a surface pattern designer and watercolor artist. This channel is all about learning watercolors with a very easy, relaxed way of thinking. Today I've got two things for you. First, I'm going to paint a delphinium, which is just a flower that has blooms all on a cluster on a stalk. There are a lot of different varieties, but I think that's the broad genus name is Delphinium. And then when we get toward the end, I am going to take you through my process for deciding if I'm finished or not. When I paint in loose styles, if you've been here before, you know this. If I paint in a loose style, I usually don't sketch it out first. So there's no roadmap to go by. I'm just kind of painting as I go. That always leaves a little space at the end where I'm always guessing, am I finished yet? Do I want to add something more? So I've come up with a method of helping me through that so that I can make more informed decisions about what I really do to finish it off. So hang on to the end and we'll go through that together. So let's start painting. Okay, let's take a look at a picture just so we all know what we're looking at. So this is one version of a delphinium. This is a purple one. I found this on Pixels. So the photographer, just in case you wanted to go look at the same one, is right here. I decided that I'm going to do one in a peachy color. I really like this carnation color. So instead of the purple, I've mixed up some peach, which is just basically some upper rose and some orange. I believe it was cadmium-free orange, but I'll put all that below. And I'm not going to do as many blooms as this. This is kind of a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, so I'm going to keep it a little bit smaller. And I've mixed up my favorite greens as usual. And I'm using my Grabby size 0 paintbrush. And we don't need to make this too difficult. These little buds are just one stroke, two maybe. And I'll vary my colors a little bit just to give some interest. And I don't know how many I'll do, just a few. This painting really doesn't take very long, so I'm taking my time, just enjoying the process. Kind of do some little sketchy, not really limbs, but kind of blanking out the name. And now for my bloom, I'm really doing the first petal the darkest, and then coming back with some clear water or some almost clear water, and doing the other petals and allowing the petals to touch each other so they bleed into each other. And I picked up a little more pink than orange on that one. I just like to vary it a little bit. And I'm just kind of guesstimating where I want to put these blooms. And I'm not even sure how many I want. I'll just see what happens. Okay, let's put one over here. I want to vary the angle of the petals. So this one's a little more open. Put another one right about here. And I'm not thinking too hard about this. Don't make it any harder than it has to be. This is a loose floral, so there are really no rules. I'll do this one a little more open even. Make it a little sketchy. Put some centers in here. And I'm using Van Dyke Brown for the, well, Van Dyke Brown and some green mixed in with it for the stem. That's the word I was looking for a minute ago, stem. See, this is filling up my page pretty quickly. Add some leaves. And I'm working pretty much from the top down. That's just the way I like to work. Sometimes I'll put a bloom in the center just to ground my composition. But for something like this, I really like going from the top to the bottom. And the original one doesn't have these little wispy things in the picture, but I think it adds a little something extra. I like putting those in. Okay, let's just stand back and take a look. I could easily add more. Let's put some little petals coming out of these pods. That way all the pink and the coral is not in one location. We're kind of spreading it out. Just kind of fiddling with it at the moment, just thinking, what else do I want to add? Put some little darker pieces on these just to give some contrast. The insides of the purple flowers are white, but I'm going to leave mine yellow. I think that looks nice against the pink and the coral. Maybe add a few little darker touches here. Some of these colors are fading quite a bit as they dry, so I'm just glazing a little bit over the top to bring those colors back out. And now I'm really just down to the part of trying to figure out, do I want to add anything else? So as I'm looking at it, it really does look like a lot of white space. I'm thinking I'm going to add a little cluster of green leaves right here toward the bottom, just to help fill up some of that space. It'll help balance it a little bit too, because it almost looks a little top heavy. And I already do not like these leaves. I don't know why, they're kind of looking weird. That's all right. I put them too close together. I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'll come back over the top of it with some more leaves that are a little darker. Try to fix that. Now, when I can't decide if I'm finished or not, I like to take my iPad and take a picture, and then I can work on it on my iPad. So let's add a few more blooms and just see what that would look like. And you don't need to spend a whole lot of time. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just good enough to give you an idea. I'll just very quickly do maybe 3 more blooms. Few leaves to go with them. And then we can really play around with it. After I finish this, I'll cut each bloom out and place it on a separate layer. And then I can resize them and we can move them around, rearrange their positions, and just find the best look. I like to do this part when I'm watching TV or something. All right, let's see. Now let's move them around. See, and you can even hide them, bring them back. So that bloom kind of looks like it's out there in the middle of nowhere. Maybe if it's smaller. Well, okay. I think this has just shown me that I really like the way it is already. So I'm not going to add anything to it. I think it's elegant the way it is. Okay. Well, now that I have a mat on it and the tape is all off, I really like it this way. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, and I hope my tip will help you out if you ever find yourself wondering if you're finished or not. Just give it a try. It really does help me. Even though I didn't really do much today with those changes, it helped me see that I really like it better without those changes. So if I had tried it, then it would have been too late and I would have regretted it. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you like this one, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I have a lot more great videos coming up. And by doing both of those things, you help YouTube know that this was helpful content for you. So it may help somebody else too. Thanks so much. See you next week.